everybody, welcome to the show. Today I have a book review for you. If you guys have been around with us for a little while, you will know that at the beginning of this year, back in January 2019, we did a goals, like what our learning goals for this year are. And you will know that my learning goal for this year was to read more. That was my personal goal. I love reading and just never had time, so I decided this year I'm going to make it a goal of mine. And so I've been reading books, and sometimes they are fiction, sometimes they are nonfiction, personal development. This month I read this book. It is The Brave Learner by Julie Bogart, and I'm going to give you an honest review of what I think about this book right now. Julie Bogart, she is a homeschool mom. She's homeschooled her 5 kids for the last 30 years, and she is also the founder of the Brave Writers program, which is a writing program that a lot of people use. It's a very popular curriculum, especially for writing, and the point of it is to encourage writing and the love of reading and writing. So you will see some of that in her book, but that's who she is. So she has a lot of experience behind her, and she's done this whole homeschool thing for a very long time. Who is this book for? I would argue that this book is for 2 groups of people. Well, kind of 3. So either, number 1, you are a brand new homeschooler and you are looking for some inspiration on how to do this whole homeschooling thing. This is kind of like a little bit of a manual for you. It has sections for like ideas and how to kind of do the whole thing at the beginning, but at the end, it's kind of a more practical how to homeschool guide and how to do it long term. So it's definitely, if you are getting into homeschooling, if you are trying this out, if you've got questions, this is a great book. The other group that I think this book would be great for would be for people who are finding their homeschool is just kind of blah. Like they're looking for a way to make it more fun and more exciting and spice things up without costing a fortune, without having to try a new curriculum, without having to do all these things. This book has so many amazing ideas that it will be on my shelf for a long time, and I will go back to this book again just when I feel like I just need to do something different. This book. The other group I could see using this book is people who run daycares or preschools, especially the first half of the book. The first half is how to make learning fun in your home or in your small area, how to make it exciting, how to set your area up. And I think that's just a really great thing that I know a lot of daycare providers and a lot of preschool providers could really use and could really enjoy finding some elements in this book and putting them to work in their classrooms. One of the things that I love about this book is that it is not a style guide. So you will find that there are a lot of books out there that are about homeschooling, but it's homeschooling Charlotte Mason style, or homeschooling in a classical style, or homeschooling in a Montessori style, or homeschooling blah, 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 blah. You get the drift. This book is not about a specific style. It is not about promoting her style or what she believes is her style to you. It is not about the style at all. It is, here are things that you can do in your home, regardless of style, regardless of what approach you take, that can make your homeschooling experience more positive and more interactive and more engaging and more fun, really. Like that's a big part of her book, is when learning is fun, learning happens better. It's better learning when learning is fun. And so I love that it is not style specific, because it really will hit a large number of people, and that means a lot of people can draw from this book, and there's so many great ideas in this book that we will get to a little bit later. So I'm going to go and say this book has basically 2 sections. So I kind of have like the beginning section and the middle section. So once you kind of get, it has parts, but like this is part 1 in my head, and this is part 2, although this is part 3 and on. This part kind of all goes together, and this part goes together. So part 1 is basically how to add what she calls enchantment or magic to your homeschool. So what can you do to connect with your kids and make what they're learning, more connections with what they're learning, and how to bring them into it more. So she has 12 components of learning that she thinks are the 12 things that can make learning more exciting. And she doesn't tell you that you need to do all of them all the time. But she's saying when you're feeling like things aren't going well, try one of these. And there's these 12 different components of learning. And the point is, when you use one of these little components, that it basically helps your kids connect to what they're learning and feel more engaged, and makes it more exciting and more fun for them, which means they will learn and retain it longer and better. So some of the components that she talks about are like ideas like how to add risk, how to mystery, how to connect with your kids through their bodies, their minds, their souls, how to, like, there's 12 and they're all really amazing. And so, but what makes it really great is that she's super practical on how to do it for each style, each component. So first off, whenever she has an element, she introduces it. I'm going to try to show you. She introduces it, she talks about it, she gives you a little, personal note on how she's used it. And then she gets into this section. And each section has one of these. It has a see differently section. She talks about things that you can do as a homeschool parent to kind of change how you're looking at something and how your kids are looking at something, to make it, when you change your perspective, to see if maybe just change your perspective can make all the difference. Then she goes into a stage of the home section. So this is actually like how to pull things out, how to set up an activity, how to do a certain thing. Yeah, like how to set up your home for success if this is like one of the components you want to try to do right now. That in itself makes it so much easier, because you have kind of like a guide on how to do what she's talking about, and she gives ideas. So let me find one. So here she's talking about mystery. So this section, she's talking about mystery, how to include mystery in your homeschooling. And so she has her little blurb about telling stories about her kids, how they've used it. So she talks about mystery, and she's talking about how you can, when she does her see things differently, she talks about using different implements to change the perspective, to make it more mysterious and more exciting. So she talks about using things like binoculars, microscopes, telescopes, cameras, mirrors, things like this, to change what you're looking at. Like literally different things you could pull out of from around your house to change how they're looking at a certain situation. And by doing that, it can add some mystery to what you're learning about. So I love that this book is super practical. I love that it offers lots of suggestions, and that those suggestions are things that are really easy to do. They're not rocket science. She's not talking about, setting up a 12-step experiment. No, sometimes she's talking about like putting something out and letting the kids explore it, or letting them write a book and you reading it to them later. Like what she's talking about is not rocket science, but stuff that you don't always think about as being super impactful, and that would connect and ignite a passion for learning in a child. But it would, and it totally does. So I love the practicality of this book. Because she has so many great ideas, I'm gonna just share a couple of my favorites. I've sticky noted them in my book here, because I'm a nerd like that. So I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite, just reading it once, things that I can do in my house right now that I think I will probably implement within the next 6 months to a year. We'll do some of these, if not all of these. She talks about having a wall of questions. So having a place where your kids can write a question and post-it note it to your wall, or have a place where you write these questions down. And I think that's a great idea to get curiosity going. And sometimes the kids ask a question, you don't have time to answer it, but you can write it down and come back to it later. And so I really think that is something that we're going to try. Another one that I really loved from this book, her coffee table experiment. She clears her coffee table and just puts a new object or a new series of objects on the coffee table and just leaves it. She walks away, she doesn't say anything about it, and she just lets the kids discover it when they do, and explore it and just see how it works without her interference. And she lets them do that for a little while, and then she walks in and will show them how to use it. For example, she might put a microscope that she has on the table with a couple of slides and just walk away. And the kids wake up, they come out, and it's just sitting there, and they get to look at it. They move things around, they move it up and down, they look at the slides, and after a couple minutes or maybe an hour, whatever feels appropriate for her, she will go in and she will start using it. Like, oh, look, oh, this is a drop of water. I'm gonna put it in here, and she starts to look at it. And that was just a really interesting way that with letting the kids explore it without us telling them what it is such a great way to get kids to like jump in and buy into like, what is this? And I think that was like such an easy thing to do that I'm definitely gonna do that. She has some great ideas about celebrating your kids' successes, which I am, again, being a former teacher, I'm always thinking like stickers, pencil, eraser, those kinds of things. But she actually had a really great list of some different ways that you can celebrate a kid's success and how to like help them celebrate a goal that they have achieved, even if it's not necessarily a goal you would think is like super exciting, but it's exciting to them, and how to celebrate that success for them. I thought that was a really good, she has a lot of really great ideas on that. Julie Bogart is a big lover of the poetry tea time. I've never really done tea time, but it's something Alexi's asked for. She really does enjoy playing tea party. And after reading this book, it's definitely gonna be something we're going to incorporate a lot more this month. Not just this year, this month. We're starting in a couple days. And I think that's gonna be a really fun thing. But she also talks about like changing your environment and making it more, like just changing things up, like making your environment where your kids are learning more comfortable. You know, talk about in the winter, bringing out some cozy blankets and letting them cuddle up while they're doing their work, or drinking lemonade while they're doing their work if it's really sunny. She just talks about how to make it a little bit more physically comforting so that they're more relaxed and more interested in what they're doing. I thought that was another really great segment that was in this book. After all that, I think this is a great book. I really enjoyed it. The Brave Learner is definitely going to be a book that I come back to a lot over the next several years, decades maybe. And just because it's such a practical book, there's so much in the front, especially the first section, of just ideas on what to do. And then the back section is kind of like a how-to guide of like how to homeschool without losing your mind. I love this book. It is definitely a great book for homeschoolers, new and old, and preschool teachers and daycare providers. And I think a lot of people would really get a lot out of reading this book. The Brave Learner by Julie Bogart. So if you want to purchase this book, I have a link down below to Amazon where you can actually find it and have it delivered right to your door. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this video interesting and exciting. And if it was informative and something you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe and you click the bell so you get all of our videos. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you guys later. Bye.
If you like what you saw, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notifications when we upload our latest videos.
Give us a thumbs up and don't forget to leave us a comment. We'll see you next week for more activities, adventures, and lifelong learning. Bye!